Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Welcome back to the channel, Simply Latrice. And on this channel, we define retirement for ourselves. It can be whatever we want it to be. Today, I am back to do a video on my 30-day challenge, needs versus wants. But before I actually do that update video, I did want to do a 5 budgeting mistakes you must avoid video. And these are just 5 things that I discovered throughout my journey of doing my 30-day challenge. First, I want to say that I have been just like so sick these last few weeks here that I'm just getting my voice back to be able to actually do a full video. So I have to say that I'm very thankful that I am able to do a video. You know, something about stopping your routine of working. It's been like 5, almost going on 6 months now that I've not been working, and I just find that I don't bounce back as quickly when I do get sick. As a matter of fact, this has been the longest I've ever really been sick. And so with that being said, I have decided that I want to maybe do a little part-time job. And so I will be discussing that more. Once again, retirement can be what you want it to be. And for me, I feel that I need the activity of having a routine, or, you know, something I could do a couple of days out of the week, because I just feel like otherwise, you know, being sick, it was just like, I don't have to do anything. I'll just lay here. And then it just became, you know, 2 days, 3 days in a week. And so I just feel like if I have something that I'm committed to having to be or do, then maybe I'm gonna push myself a little bit more. But that's off topic. Okay, so before I start the video though, I do want to ask that you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the budgeting tips that I do have coming. And so without further ado, let's talk about 5 budgeting mistakes you must avoid to hopefully stop wasting money. All right, so today I'm going to be breaking down these 5 budgeting mistakes, and number 3 is going to be a game changer. So as I said, 5 budgeting mistakes you must avoid. So these can be things that will allow you to figure out why your budget isn't working, how to fix those mistakes, and the best way to actually budget that makes sense or that works for you. If you're serious about saving money and reaching financial freedom, once again, I ask that you hit that like button and that subscribe button, and let's get started. So mistake number 1 is not tracking every expense. And the number 1 reason budgets fail: people underestimate their spending. So, you know, you might budget for your things like your rent, or groceries, and gas. But what about that, you know, $5 coffee habit, or that, you know, a little treat that you like to buy for yourself, that adds up? Like, you really have to track every item. And some things I think I did not, just saying, oh, it's just $2 here, $3 here, $5 here. But if the goal is to track every expense, then those things are expenses. And so That was a big call out for me. So comment below, what's one thing you keep spending on without realizing it, right? And now that you do realize it, you can now get on top of it and take control of it or account for it. Number 2, not budgeting for irregular expenses. So, ever had a surprise bill ruin your month? Yeah, that was me for the month of March. I had some insurance policies that renewed that I neglected to stay on top of, to realize that they were coming due, and it totally threw my budget off. Also, I neglected to add in expenses for spring break. My son was on spring break, and so that put me on the road a little more to travel to see him, or to spend time with him for spring break. And then of course we wanted to go see my oldest son, and so I didn't account for the gas and the extra eating out. And my oldest son recently got his Associates of Science in Industrial Technology, and so I wanted to celebrate him. And so that was expenses for, once again, going out to eat, buying little knickknacks and things like that for him. And so yeah, not budgeting for irregular expenses can most definitely throw off your budget. So these things that don't happen every month, but they do come up. Once again, like I said, for me, it was some insurance subscriptions, spring break, but what about car repairs, medical bills? So it's a good idea to create a little sinking fund, or I don't want to say emergency fund, because I want that to be something separate from this, but something that will help us have a little bit of a cushion for these types of expenses, so that we can, set aside a little something each month, so when these things do come up, we're more prepared. So that was number 2. Number 3 mistake is not paying yourself first. If you save what's left over at the end of the month, you'll never save, because you'll never have anything left at the end of the month. If your budget runs over, then there's nothing there to save. And so I think what you can do instead is treat saving money like a bill. So when your money comes in, you automatically send 10%, maybe 20% if you can, to savings first. Then budget the rest for the bills and the spending. So I know that I've talked about the 50-30-20 rule in budgeting, which is still a good foundation for me. But coming this next month in April, when I take things that I learned while doing my 30-day challenge for this month of March, I'm going to allot myself my regular amount, and I'm going to start with 10%, and I'm going to divert that into a different account to have a little cushion for some of the things that occurred this month, for whenever they occur again. And then from that amount, I'm going to do my 50-30-20. So I think that is going to be a good game changer. That's what I said about the number 3. And yeah, I think that would be something that is worth thinking about, setting up an automatic transfer so you don't even have to think about it again. And that gets us to mistake number 4, setting an unrealistic budget. Even though I didn't intentionally do it for March, I actually set myself up with an unrealistic budget because I had the insurance policies that came up for renewal. I did it in the midst of, spring break month and the additional traveling that cost. And so I think you really do have to start with a realistic budget. So if your budget is too strict, you'll give up fast. So saying you'll never eat out again, not realistic, because I went into this challenge not with the idea that I would not eat out, but just to be a little bit more in control of what I spent, which, once again, unusual circumstances, I ate out a little bit more because it was spring break. I had my son. I visited my oldest son. We went out to eat or got things to eat. And so, but, when you talk about a budget, you don't want to cut all the fun out of your budget. Like, you don't want to be miserable, but you do want to do it in a manner that it is planned for. So, a good budget should be realistic and sustainable. And then that brings us to number 5, not reviewing your budget monthly. A budget isn't a one-time thing, it needs adjustments. And actually, I should say, not reviewing your budget bi-weekly also is a good strategy, and not just wait till the end of the month. As soon as I realized I had those things coming in for the insurance, I had to I had to adjust my budget. I had to sit down and say, hey, I have 30% here, 20% here, 50% here. Where can I make this work that I'm not totally just blowing through a whole other, pile of money that I set aside, And so you have to do those things as needed. So it's it's good to do it, every month, but sometimes you have to do it a little sooner. So bi-weekly is also a good strategy to use. And so, a budget isn't a one-time thing. It needs adjustments. At the end of each month, you should ask yourself, did I overspend in any category? Where can I cut back? Or do I need to adjust for next month? And so for me, I will need to adjust for next month. I will be getting ready to, get my automatic withdrawal for my next month's stipend or allotment. And I want to make sure that I have a better chance of staying on track and account for any unexpected expenses that may occur. And so the goal is to make small improvements each month so that you get stronger over time. So budgets are fluid. They're not one size fits all. And so, yeah, you just need to be really realistic with yourself and honest. I think I've said that the biggest thing about a budget is just being honest with yourself about, what you have and what you need. So now that you know 5 budgeting mistakes to avoid, which one have you made before? Drop it in the comments below. And if I did not include something on my list, drop that down in the comments as well below. So like this video if you found it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe and like, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be aware of more money saving tips or budgeting tips. And so, yeah, let's take control of our finances and build financial freedom together. Remember, your retirement, your choice. And yeah, as always, I like to thank you for watching my videos, and I'll see you in the next one.